When programmers are first starting out, when they're being introduced to programming, they get some big ideas, and there's some common myths that share between them. And in training developers, interns and in classes, I've noticed some kind of similarities. What I've done is I've chosen some of the awkward myths, or the best myths, the funniest myths, the myths that I thought were the most appealing for this video. And it's in celebration of a new book that I've written called Software Developers Handbook, which is completely free, and you can download that link in the description. Now, often I've been doing courses, right? So it is one-on-one, or maybe 30 in a class, going through a particular topic such as CSS or JavaScript or something like that. And one of the common sort of myths there is that they are going to become a programmer after that particular course. Now keep in mind, some of these courses are just CSS. You're not a programmer after CSS. You're not a programmer after a C# course you've done online. So this is probably one of the more serious myths, but I think there's a misconception between what people initially think learning will be. So there's obviously, you don't know what you don't know. So therefore, when you start in this new course, you're so excited, you're bubbling, you believe that you're going to become a programmer at the end of that course. Let's dispel that. There is no book, there is no course that will make you a programmer. It is a series of things, series of modules, many years. It's going to take lots of time and lots of effort. You could say that multiple courses can make you a programmer. You could say that multiple years make you a programmer. You're not a programmer after doing a single course. I've been told by many beginners that they are going to be the ones to build a new operating system that will rival Windows. They have the formula, they know exactly what they need to do, and they're going to go and do that straight after the course. And the funny bit is they could be on a JavaScript course and have no other programming experience whatsoever. So there's this big leap, and this has been quite common actually, that people think that they're going to now be able to execute at some kind of base level of an operating system. Related to that, I've also had people come in and say they're going to design new languages, they're going to, rival Linux, or they're going to go and open and contribute to the Linux source code. And sort of that misconception between, I think it's maybe the first misconception, which is I'm going to do a course, I'm a programmer, therefore I can do anything. And that is kind of not how it works. Myth number 3. I'm going to make a game to sell millions. Well, you're probably not. Well, I mean, you don't want to dishearten anyone with any of these things, really. And, people must have passion, and it's not our job to suppress that passion. They must go for whatever their heart desires. But really, the numbers in the industry is quite seriously against that. Only 1 in 1,000 will download 1,000. Only 1 in 1,000,000 will reach 1,000,000. There's not that many success stories as such. And if it does, it's possibly free. You're getting some ad revenue. You might have trouble putting it into a store. You might have to develop a piece of software that's greater than you originally thought, and it takes longer. There's so much to this that just doesn't ring true. And the myth is really that they're going to accomplish this very quickly, that somehow what they're doing now is going to unlock that potential. So I'd first say that's a great goal to have, a long-term goal, and you can definitely strive towards that, but don't think that that is a prerequisite, or it is an output of a course that you're doing, or just because you're learning some programming, it doesn't equal some kind of deliverable like that. There is so much complexity and so much more to developing products, whether the product is built well, whether the game is achievable, whether the game is acceptable to people, do they enjoy it, is it released at the same time as another game which smothers it. There's so much more to life, to business, to products, to software. Myth number 4. Coding is boring. Well, maybe you're not entirely wrong. There's a lot of parrot fashion things. There's a lot of repetition in programming. And, if you have to sit down and concentrate for long periods of time behind a computer screen, it may not be for you. If you like puzzles, if you like thinking, if you like designing something and outputting something at the end, I wouldn't say it's boring, and I wouldn't dismiss it for others who do enjoy it. And there's obviously a lot of stuff involved, from streaming videos, building the internet. So everything that you are interested in, whether that's inside or outside, it's probably related to software in some way. The modern age is completely encapsulated by technology, and whatever you're doing, there's technology driving it. And where there's technology today, there is software. The next myth is that there somehow is a programming language that beats all others. There is a best programming language. Well, no, there's not. All languages have their own pros and cons. Some languages are designed to be best suited for memory management, others for performance. Every language is going to be skewed towards whatever the drivers were for the language designers. We have a full range of languages today, general purpose languages, domain specific languages. What you should be doing is picking the language that is fit for purpose, that suits the environment that you need it. Right? So sometimes you might start in a job, and that job has a certain language. It's one that you did a course on. That doesn't mean it's the language for you, or it's the language you should continue with. What you need to do is learn different types of languages, see where you want to go with your technology, with your life, with your career, and see what is best for you. Myth number 6. I should learn the latest programming language. Well, that's not entirely true. A programming language that comes out that's new and fresh may not have a community. Might be exciting, it's something that you can get into, but in terms of a job market or a career choice, it might not be the best way to go. A programming language must be suitable for a range of business activities. And if a business is well established, they'll already have that activity and already have the language. Sometimes it's best to go for a language that is already established. Languages such as Java, C#, and perhaps even C++. These are languages that are so established with technologies and apps and platforms all developed around it, it wouldn't hurt to learn something that has that stability and robustness. That doesn't mean that you don't learn latest, and by all means jump into all sorts of things to expand your knowledge. But you shouldn't have to learn the latest technologies. You should learn the technologies that are basically sought after and where there's a career choice that matches your knowledge. Myth number 7, programming is hard. No, it's not. Myth number 8, programming is hard. Yes, it is. There are various levels to programming. You can start with engineering. You can understand electronics. You can understand binary, assembler, C++, memory management. You can build frameworks. You can build languages. But you can also build simple websites using something like Twix or WordPress. So there is a complete range of activity and knowledge and difficulty within the IT space. So whether you're doing hardware or doing software, in all of those regions, you could be assembling hardware or building it or designing it. You can be assembling software, building or designing it. It is not a clear-cut choice of which is hard and which is not hard. If you want a challenge, there are definitely challenges in software, and you can put yourself in a career path that deals with challenges. There's a lot of new things to invent. There's a lot of things to build. Some of that is hard. But there are also easier things to improve, such as user experiences. We have a flood of applications out there, and not all of them work well. So there's a real opportunity to do the easy stuff. So programming is both hard and easy. It is a complicated world, and you can choose where you need to go within that world. If I had to give you a message that you take away from this video, is that programming is fun. right? I would recommend it to your children. I'd recommend it to yourself if you're watching this and it's not your career. I'd recommend this if you're in programming already and starting out. Continue. Programming is fun. Do something fun. Build something fun. Get a passion. Have your passion. What is your passion? Is it coding? Maybe it's not, but you are a coder. Well, do something with your passion. Combine it with coding. Coding is a wonderful experience. To juniors, I would say, just control your enthusiasm a little bit. Don't try and get a goal that's too far. Be a little bit down to earth. Concentrate on the fundamentals. You will get there. If you want to build an operating system, if you want to build a programming language, you can. But then you must follow a course of action that leads you to that. You must do the right courses, learn the right things, practice the right technologies. You can get there. But don't think that you're going to get there from doing the odd course and getting started in a career. You have to have a real objective. Now, if you want to get started in programming, I'd advise you to read my book, The Software Developer's Handbook. This book is aimed at year 1, 2, and 3 of a career in software programming. Now, I give you anecdotes within that, what I went through, some of the things that I struggled with, some of the things that I had success with, and I give you a way to think about things. I talk about algorithms to managing software, to the life cycle of software, to continuous deployment, whatever it is. I sort of bring it into the book and give you ideas on how to think. I hope that you will enjoy the book. It is free. You can download it from the description in the link below this video. If you're watching on a smart TV, stop, connect with your phone, look at the description, you'll get access to the PDF.